Now, good morning, students. So, in this second lecture, also, we would continue to discuss Andy Marvell poem "Thoughts in a Garden." And in my first lecture, we have some introduction about the author, some introduction of the poem, and we have also discussed first two stanzas. In this lecture, we would continue to discuss another stanzas of the poem and how the poem progresses. The poet also points out no white nor red was ever seen so amorous as this lovely green. He points out that no color is so beautiful and so soothing and relaxing as the color green. The green is a symbol of peace also because the trees are green in color, the garden is all green. Fond lovers cruel as their flame, cut in these trees their mistress' name. The poet also uses try very amusingly, and he says that the fond lovers means the passionate lovers when their feelings or passions are flared up. So what they do that they cut their mistress or lovers' names on the bark of the trees. Little allowance they know or heed, but they are not knowing, they are careless about how far these beauties have exceeded, that the tree's beauty is more greater, the tree's beauty is more great than the beloved or the lovers. Fair trees, whereas wherever your barks I wound, no name shall be but your own be found. And it is a natural process that these marks are not permanent. After some times, they are the bark surface becomes smooth, and there is no mark visible on the stem of the trees. So this is the you can say that a very realistic approach the poet has described in that. When we have run our passion's heat, love hither makes his best retreat. He says that whenever the lovers are in good mood, or whenever they are want some peace, they looked for the garden as the place which can provide there they can find some solitude or to discuss their matter. After some time, you can say that it is the garden provides the best retreat to the lovers, and the poet further says that not only to human beings, even it provided shelter to gods. For example, the garden provides the best retreat to the lovers. It is a place of protection, I think. Not only human beings, even divine creatures, even God, find shelter in the garden. When the god Apollo persuaded the nymph Daphne, it's a mythical story that Apollo, the god Apollo, persuaded the nymph Daphne. She prayed to God and was turned to laurel. Laurel is a flower. And similarly, the nymph Syrinx was saved being turned into a reed. Reed is a very thin plant which grows with the support of something. Was saved during turn into reed when she was persuaded by God Pan, Pan. So this is the thing that not the garden provides shelter or protections not only to the lovers, to the human beings, but even to heavenly creatures like God Apollo and Pan and Syrinx and Daphne. Now, after discussing the beauty of earthly garden, the poet shifts his attentions towards the heavenly garden. The poet shifts his admiration from earthly garden to humanly garden, to heavenly garden. Human beings enjoyed complete bliss in the garden of heaven before creation of the world. Before the creation of this world, human beings live a very happy life in the heavenly garden. They don't have to make any effort. Ripe apples willingly drop over their head. The juicy clusters of grapes crush its juice into their mouth. If they struck by chance, then they struck with the melons and fall upon grass. So there is no danger. They have no appetite. Whenever, if they think, if they are willing, if the desire comes in their heart to eat or to drink someone, so the things come automatically or naturally towards the mouth. Now, this was the heavenly garden where man lived before the creation of the earth. Now, after that, the poet describes the working process of the mind. That is the most important stanza of the poem. And here the poet explains how our mind functions. It looks a very scientific topic, but the poet has described in a very beautiful way and in a very interesting way that no one can forget the things which are described by the poet, and it is quite relevant and it is quite truth. There is nothing beyond that. It is compared with the ocean. The mind is compared with the ocean. Meanwhile, the mind, from pleasures less, withdraws into his happiness. The mind, the ocean, were each kind. Now, what happens in oceans that different rivers, they mix their water into the ocean. Many rivers flows and their ends takes place in the oceans. So the ocean is a place where there is a water from all over the world. Similarly, the mind, our mind is full of many ideas, wonderful ideas, and it is the process. The mind works like a process to filter all the ideas. You can say that it is as it is impossible to measure the depth of the ocean. It is impossible to measure the depth of the ocean. Similarly, it is quite impossible to find out the thoughts which are running in any man. So we can say, because we have seen that some persons behave very nicely to us, but tomorrow or day after we hear that he has murdered someone and he has committed a very heinous crime, very grave crime. So this happens in our society because we are unable to track the ideas, the thoughts which are taking place in our mind. It is impossible to know the thoughts of a person as different rivers mingle into the ocean. Similarly, many ideas, many diverse ideas flows in our mind. Similarly, in the mind, it annihilates. The poet says that far other wars and other seas, annihilating all that is made to a green thought in a green shed. As now annihilates. Now I would explain it a little bit that as the river flows and it takes many things with it. So similarly, many ideas takes place in our mind, but some are, you can say that, materialized. We consider it to act upon, and many ideas we left it there because we think that they are not practical. We are unable to implement them. So this process of annihilation means destroying, or you can say the discarding or rejecting the ideas. Many ideas, thousand ideas take place, and only the few ideas are taken up by calculating, by applying all up and downs and pros and cons, that there is no fear, there is no danger in implementing it. So we take only those ideas. Otherwise, in our minds, there is always a war between new ideas and the old ones. And it depends on us, it depends our aptitude, that how we are able to filter the good ideas and implement it in our life. I think in this way, this poem, this stanza is quite, I think, quite useful in our today's life, that we should make maximum use of our ideas and try to make the things that the positive idea, the positive things come to our mind. Because nowadays you see that there is so much negativity, there is so much violence in our society, that you can say that the positive ideas are left behind. I hope that you have understood this thing.